The verse and gospel reading today remind us that there are so many times in life that we encounter storms. Life indeed is a struggle. It's not an even playing field. We have days that we are challenged so greatly in terms of our abilities, our resources, and our strengths. And so today it's an opportunity for us to consider the meaning of struggling in life, the struggles that we have. I think it's important to keep in mind that life is not perfect. There are moments in which we have downturns in the economy, broken relationships, moments in which we have health challenges, also times in which the world seems to be falling apart. Life is not perfect, and there are struggles. So often we kid ourselves to thinking that life has to be perfect. And sometimes we pass that on to our children and don't allow them to experience failure and struggle in life. I think it's very important for all of us to keep in mind that life is full of struggles, and we should not begin to think that it has to be perfect. And we want to make sure that we also help our children face the reality that failure comes in life, that failure is in part of who we are and part of the learning process. And we should never just shield them from failure itself. But it's also true that challenges and struggles in life, even failures, are moments in which we discover new strengths about ourselves. We begin to see that there is an endurance in us, a resiliency, an ability to bounce back in moments in which we have setbacks. And if we don't have those struggles, we really will never grow, we'll never be strong. Some of you may know that Father Greg raises canaries, and he told me that some years ago he was kind of concerned about one of the eggs that were supposed to hatch at a certain date, and it didn't. So he thought maybe the little bird in there was struggling and could not come out of the shell. And so he pierced it with the little needle. And sure enough, that was enough for that little bird to come out. But it didn't survive because it didn't learn how to struggle itself to be able to break through that shell of the egg. How true that is for us in life. We become stronger in moments of struggle. We begin to discover new things about who we are whenever we take up the challenges of life. I've often read about many different inventions and successes in people's life that came only after many moments of disappointment and failure. I'm told that Thomas Edison, for instance, tried almost 1,000 times before he succeeded in creating the light bulb. How true that is in each one of our lives. Our failures do teach us something about ourselves, and it is so often a matter of trial and error before we succeed. And we should not be afraid of having failure, of having struggles in life that bring failure. But also we get a sense in the reading from Job and also this gospel text that God is with us in a particular moment in these struggles and difficulties in life. Notice that for both Job and for those disciples, they really come to understand who God is, God who is present to them in the moment of struggle. God looks for ways to come in the midst of our lives to reveal himself to us, to assure us that we're not alone, that from the very beginning, God has always wanted us to succeed. God has always been there as the one who makes sure that in the struggles of life, we're not alone. So today, as we celebrate this Eucharist in the middle of the summer months, in which we have a little more time to reflect, it's a chance for us to think about the struggles in life that we've had, never to be afraid of them or live in the myth that life has to be perfect, and surely never allow our children to escape failure and disappointment and take on the struggles of life, but also to recall how we have learned so much about ourselves and also about the presence of God in our lives in moments of our struggle. Struggle indeed is part of human living, and it's once we begin to accept struggling and hardships and difficulties as a great gift that God has given us to reveal some inner strengths in ourselves, but also His presence, I believe that the happier we will be in life, rather than living in the mythology that everything has to be perfect. Today, let us thank God for the opportunities to struggle in life, moments in which we learn more about ourselves and also appreciate the enduring presence of God.